Hi, M1s. So this is going to be a quick demo on how to turn a simple landscape drawing into a digital medium. So you got to have a nice drawing of a landscape with solid lines. Pencil doesn't work as well as black pens for this, and you'll see why. So start off by making sure you're on pixlr.com/e, not the X version, and then click Create New. Scroll down and find the 12MPX, and you can title it if you want, and then click Create. Make sure you have a nice high resolution photo of your landscape drawing, and you can drag and drop it right into the layer. Make sure you click Add Current so you maintain this 4K resolution. If you just click Create New, it's going to open up a project at the resolution that the photo was in, which is not as high. So click Add Current, and you can see that my photo is a little bit smaller, but the project is 4K up here. So we'll use the Arrange tool to expand this a little bit bigger so we can see the whole thing, and then use the Select tool to select the area that you want to use. So I'm going to take this area right here, making sure that the horizon line goes side to side, and then hit Control C to copy and Control V to paste. And now you can see my new image right here. So I'll expand this so it fills up the whole slide. And if you want to crop this to get rid of this extra strip at the bottom, you can, or we can just add that to the drawing later. I can crop it by just sliding this up and then hitting Enter. Okay, so next up we want to get rid of the black pen line and turn it to a solid black. So we can use the Wand Select tool, find an area, select that, and you might have to do this in different segments if the lines aren't touching, but since all of my black lines are connected, it's selecting the entire area. Now I can click the Fill tool, and it's going to fill in this shape, and I want to do it on a new layer. So I'll click an empty layer down here and use the Fill tool and click right on that space, and it oops. Top color is this beige color. I want it to be black. So if you make a mistake, just hit Control Z and it'll undo. All right, so I want to deselect this area now. So hit Control D, and you can see that I have all my black lines are now nice solid black, no more little gradients from the distortions in the photo. So I can hide my drawing now, and you can see it's a little hard to see these black lines on top of the transparent layer. So I'm going to go down to this bottom layer and fill it in white just so I can see my work a little bit better. Use the Fill tool, fill that in white, and now I can see my drawing a little bit more clearly. You can see that I got a couple mistakes down here where the lines aren't connecting, and I'll have to fix those later. But I'll start by coloring in my trees and my boma. So let's start with a nice shade of green and fill in these leaves. Now, if you're on the wrong layer, like say I'm still on this layer, and I try to fill in these leaves, it's going to fill in the whole thing because it's actually looking at this whole layer as one shape because there's no lines on it. Like if I hide these, you can see that I'm filling in that whole layer green. So let's go back a couple steps, fix that, make sure you're working on layer 4, which is where the tree is. So let's finish up these branches. These leaves are a little bit small, so I'm going to zoom in just so I don't make any mistakes. Fill these in, and then I'll find a nice shade of brown for my baobab tree. And for my boma, the roof, I'm going to make it a little darker. I'm going to make like that, just because I want some different colors, different values. And because these are all little sections, I'm going to have to click on them all individually. Like this. Make sure you don't click on your black line, or else it'll turn the entire black line to this shade of brown. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, now for the boma, I'm going to make it like a nice light brownish gray color, like say something like that. And it's going to fill the whole thing in because of this little gap right here. So to fix that, if you have any little gaps right like that, you'll have to come in with the brush tool. You'll need to find the right size. Mine, for this, it's a 10. You can zoom in and see like the width of the brush is the right size. You see how it's a little blurry on the edges? If you don't like that, click on the brush tool and change the softness down to 0. And then it'll make a nice clean edge. If you do want that, if you do want some fuzzy edges, you can change the softness to whatever you like, and you can see how that looks. So I'm going to keep it on a hard edge like that. Oops. Softness at 0, hard edge here, like this, and then I'll also go over and fix this one, holding down the space bar to drag and drop. Now I can fill in my my BOMA with this brown color. And then I'll fill in the doorway because there's no lights inside this dark black color. And I'll change this a little bit for the ground, like that. And I can make the sky a really light shade of blue, like this. Okay, and that's almost forgot. These little negative space windows between the branches need to be blue as well. And actually, now that I think about it, just make the layer 1 blue. That way the whole thing behind it is the right color. And if you want to come back and fix these little mistakes in here that didn't get colored brown, you can. So anyway, that's the quickest way to turn your drawing into digital art.